this one. It's governance, policies, and you. And of course, our team member who joins us every Friday morning is going to be sharing with you in this recorded interview. A very good morning and welcome once again to another program in the series. We call it Governance, Policies, and You. And I'm very excited again because we are helping people and we're informing you and you're getting, what you need to do done. And with me again is Shena Stubs-Gibson. And we're going to be talking on how we're going to be talking more about the NIS and we have some answers because last week, good morning, Sheena, how are you doing?
Good morning, Nadine. Good morning, listeners.
Boy, we got so many questions last week.
Yes.
So we have some answers for we put some of the themes of the questions together and we have some answers for you that Sheena will be sharing. So Sheena, over to you.
Thank you, Nadine. And we had promised listeners as well last week that we would summarize the benefits because we didn't get enough time to list out all of them. So in today's session, we're going to try to answer the questions as well as to summarize those benefits so we can end this topic. We've been doing it for a few sessions now, and it's good, as you say, to know that we're able to help persons. So very good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the last occasion when we spoke about it, which was last week, Friday, last week I got a lot of feedback. Yourself got a lot of feedback, Nadine, which you forwarded to me. Persons had various questions, and we tried to see to what extent we could get the answers during the course of the week to assist them. Yes, so there was one listener who said she had 2 jobs and she's contributing from both. She wanted to know if she's entitled to a contribution refund. Yes, you would be entitled to a contribution refund if it is that you have exceeded the maximum payable for NIS for the year, because there's a cap in terms of the amount of salary that your NIS is deducted from. Some literature I recall reading some time ago, it was a maximum of 500,000. But I would suggest that you check with NIS to verify, because there are changes from time to time, so that information may not be most up to date. But what is important is that yes, you should be entitled, if it is that both employers together have paid so much NIS for you that you have reached the cap on what is payable for the year, then you would be entitled to a contribution refund. So
hold on. So I'm so sorry. So you can pay too much NIS. You can end up paying too much NIS, and you can get refund.
Yes, in a situation like hers, because if you have one job, what they would do is usually they would be tracking it. So there's a cap in terms of the remuneration. So they're not going to collect NIS from every single revenue or every single earning, every single dollar of earning that you get for the year.
Right.
Not every single dollar of earning will attract the NIS payment.
Right.
It is that there is a cap in terms of the dollars of money that you get for the year that attract NIS payment. So if that amount is exceeded and NIS is being charged, let's just say it's $500,000, and NIS is being charged against $550,000 50,000, then you would be entitled to a refund for the difference between the 50,000 and the 500,000. I'm just using figures.
Right.
I'm just using hypothetical figures here. You would be entitled to a refund of your 2.5% contribution on that extra 50,000. So I want to move on quickly because I know how quickly time goes. So that's one question there.
Yes.
As it pertains to the another listener said that she used to pay NIS on her previous job, which she was at for a few years, and then she left that job and she is a janitor at another job on another job now, but that particular job is not collecting the NIS from her remuneration. And she wants her NIS to be collected, and she wanted to know if she could just do the contribution herself. No, you can't just pay for your employer's share. Your employer has a responsibility, legal responsibility, to pay the NIS or their share. Because remember, it's 50-50.
Right.
So the employer has a responsibility to pay their share of it. So what she should do is to call NIS discreetly and to verify indeed if the contributions are not being made by her employer, and then to advise NIS of the name of the employer, and they will discreetly investigate the matter with a view to getting that employer to comply with their legal obligations. Her name won't be called. There will be a discreet investigation.
And just to clarify, is it that NIS? I would assume that NIS does these investigations arbitrarily. They can just get up and say, today we're going to investigate this company.
I would expect so. Right. I know for a fact that our tax office does that.
Right.
And I would expect that the NIS has mechanisms to do that as
yes,
well. I would expect that.
Right.
But just in case you have an employer that's not paying, you can take the initiative. Don't wait for NIS to get around to use their resources, because resources are always a challenge in this country. You can reach out to them, and a discreet investigation will be carried out. Okay. Thirdly, there was another listener who said that she had retired from her job, but she had not yet reached pensionable age 65. But she wanted to know if there wasn't any exception to the general principle that you have to reach 65 to get the NIS pension. There is no exception. She was saying, given COVID and all of that, if there's no way she could start accessing her pension, even though she hadn't reached 65 yet. There is no exception except that.
I like that. Pun intended.
All right, so the only caveat, let's put it that way, the general principle is no, you will not get you're not going to receive a pension unless you achieve the age of 65.
Right.
Unless you have something like an injury or invalidity, a sickness that entitles you to get your pension earlier. So you had to stop working because of one of the sicknesses that the NIS Act recognizes. Or maybe you got a job injury that has rendered you invalid and you can't work anymore anyways for the rest of your life. So it's as if your pensionable age has arrived earlier than would be expected. So in those circumstances, she didn't mention that she had any of those kind of challenges.
Right.
So generally, it would be no, you have to await the 65. But if there are other persons listening that had to retire because of medical illnesses and stuff, they may be entitled to get their pension, their NIS pension, at an earlier age. And so what they should do is get in touch with the NIS to ascertain if they qualify.
Okay. All right.
Right. There was yet another question. There was someone who said that her husband died, she makes contributions, and she wanted to know if she could get a funeral grant. Yes, you you can get a funeral grant. But again, get in touch with NIS because the amount of grants that you can get is dependent on the number of contributions that you have made. So get in touch with NIS and over the phone or go and visit them. But yes, you would be. It doesn't have to be that your husband made the contributions. If you make the contributions, if you are the one that's contributing and your spouse died, you could still get a benefit even though it is not your spouse wasn't a contributor. So what you want to do, madam, is to get in touch with the NIS office and tell them your situation, and they will look at how much contributions you made and whether you qualify for the grant based on the contributions that you made.
Right. Oh boy, I tell you. I really am happy that we're able to help persons. Last week I got bad up because we didn't stream the program. And so persons were asking, they want to be able to share the information and listen back, So we're very happy. So what else do you have for us? Any more questions that we're answering this morning?
There's a lady that actually called, that's Miss Royal, one of your listeners, who actually called and tried to assist Miss Osborne, who I spoke to you about last week. Miss Osborne, get in touch with the parish office. I think your situation is in Montego Bay. Get in touch with the branch office in Montego Bay instead of trying to deal with the situation through the head office and see if you can. And because we actually had someone checking your situation, one of the callers, one of your, so helpful, and you just have some really good callers, Nadine.
Yeah.
And one of them actually reached out to her sister, who is a branch manager, and that branch manager checked on it. So Miss Osborne, get in touch with the branch office in respect of your husband's particular case. Your husband had died. Get in touch with the branch office, and they say that you should be able to have the matter expedited rather than necessarily just dealing with it through the head office, given that your situation is in Montego Bay, I believe it was. If it's not Montego Bay, deal with the branch office of whatever, wherever you hail from. There was another question that I'm trying to remember, but there were persons repeating the same thing about not being able to get in touch sometimes with NIS and the accountant general.
Right.
So if you have problems, folks, go up there. If you have problems, go up there, right? So go up there. Go up there if you have problems. Some of the other benefits that I wanted to mention last time, and I didn't, time ran out, so I'm just going to mention them quickly so that we can get this section finished. And you have, as I indicated before, Nadine, you have the maternity benefit. So persons can actually, especially for domestic workers can get self-employed persons, because you know that if you were fully employed, you would be able to get your maternity pay still if you were employed. And but when you are self-employed, where do you get a benefit from? Where? Through the NIS, provided that you have been making your contribution.
Right.
So remember that would be for domestic workers, and I think self-employed persons may also be able to obtain that benefit. Double check that one. If you're self-employed, double check that. But I know that domestic workers would be able to get that maternity allowance. Okay. There's also something called a special child benefit, which is payable to the guardian of a child under the age of 18, whose mother is deceased and the father's whereabouts is unknown. So if you are taking care of a child in such a situation, you are entitled to claim that benefit. Or if the child parents are deceased, both parents, this is the orphan benefit. You can also claim that benefit, right?
All right, so we're going to take a quick pause and get back to this because I know I can see the comments coming in and I love it. So we're going into a sponsored hour, so let's take care of business and be right back.
Make sure your child can live life to the fullest. Apply for a Sagicor Life Child Protector Critical Illness Plan today. The time by Sagicor Life is
7:01 on the Sound of Love 101, and this segment, this hour, is brought to you by Flow. Flow, every Flow prepaid plan from 2 to 30 days has unlimited data for the apps you really want. Try our new 7-day plan for just $675. Dial star 129 star 6 number sign to activate. This is a word from our sponsor.
Only Flow gives you everything you want in every plan. Unlimited local calls and texts, plus unlimited data for the apps you really want like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and WhatsApp. No other network comes close. Flow has plans from 2 to 30 days and every plan has everything you want. Dial star 129 star 6 number sign to activate your 7-day plan with everything you want for only $675. Conditions apply.
Thank you so much for listening, and we continue with our feature governance policies and you. And thank you, send in your questions and we'll be able to look at them for you. Here we go as we continue the recording.
Right. But usually there would be some kind of contribution either from the mother or from both parents or from either parent, right?
Okay.
And there's the employment injury benefit. If you get injured on the job and you sustain an injury as a result of an accident arising out of or in the course of your employment, or if you develop one of the diseases, remember I was telling you that there are certain illnesses, certain diseases, and it will confirm if your particular disease or your particular illness applies, then you should be able to also get an employment injury benefit. So sometimes persons get injured and their workplaces don't want to compensate them, and then they just think that's the end of the matter.
It's not necessarily
the end of the matter.
I got
if you are making your NIS contributions, you go and get in touch with them, right?
Okay. Well, guess what? You know how time is, and we're over time now. But the heart of what we're hearing is, if you're having issues getting in touch, calling them. But I really hope they can put something in place. Get an app, do a text, something, WhatsApp or something.
I agree.
Yeah,
and and accountant general too, because this is NIS pension, but there's also
the accountant general
pension,
right?
That government employees receive. The more substantial pension is through the accountant general, and they're very bad too with responding to.
So I hope they're listening, and I hope something will be put in place. I see that garbage collection have app now, so you can take picture of your garbage and send to them. Hopefully, we'll have something else. But Shena, thank you so much. I know that our listeners have been have gotten the information they needed and direct answers to questions that they've asked. And again, folks, if you need answers, please post your questions, send it to the WhatsApp number, and we'll see what we can do by God's grace next week. Well, no, next week is Good Friday. We'll see what happens. We'll take a break next week. Right. Every blessing. Thank you so much, Shena. And yes, all the very best.
Okay, take care. Blessing.
Bless you. Thank you so much for listening to Governance, Policies, and You. This is Love 101. So yesterday I had what you call it now? But it was just so cool. Like, you ever go back in time and then you listen to some songs and you're like, oh my God, yes, I remember that song. Yeah, well, I had one of those last night. And I want to share one or two of the songs. And some of you will be like, oh, what? I don't know that. I know. But some of you will be like, yes, I do. And we're going all the way back to 1997 with this one. And I'm talking about the group DC Talk. Oh my goodness. What gonna happen when concerts start keep? And show start keep. I remember when DC Talk came to Jamaica for Fun in the Sun back in the day. Some of you going, who? It was so good. Toby Mac. Oh my.
His name is
I see your questions coming in. Lord, what are all of the questions? Woo!
Find a life on my own apart from you.